So this week Belal Muhammad hit the headlines again, and you would think it would be because he was being extremely racist towards Sean Strickland and Sean Strickland's fans, but no, it wasn't because of that. It was because of his cringe response to Sean Strickland making the video in the gym.
Thunder thumbs, which is not even clever. Your racist hillbilly fans are saying, oh man, you're a beast, you're a man. Look at the distance. It's like someone recording a lion in the wild. You stay at a safe distance. You don't get into the danger zone.
So after seeing that, it was an extremely easy video to make. Let's call out Belal Muhammad for being racist. The way Ariel Helwani was calling him out for being an anti-Semite. This guy's just a little bit confused. Maybe I'll have a deeper look. And what I came up with was, maybe this guy's not racist. Well, actually, no. You know what? He probably is racist. But maybe he's just a little bit more retarded than racist.
I'm retarded?
Belal Muhammad, one of the most unlikable characters in the UFC. We have all these videos of content creators going, hey, he's not that bad, trust me, he's brilliant, he's a great fighter, he's got a 10-fight streak, this guy needs some respect on his name. And I just don't agree. I think your fighting style is extremely boring, and I think that your personality is extremely boring, and it has led me to where we are with this video in terms of he hit the headlines this week responding to Sean Strickland. And how did he respond? He responded by being extremely racist. Again, this seems to be a common factor over the last few months because the hammer isn't coming down on these guys, and they seem to be allowed, promoted, and encouraged to be racist towards white people. It's fine, it is what it is. Sean Strickland, who's an extremely funny guy, has a little bit of banter with Belal inside in the gym, calls him Thunder Thumbs because of his response time on Twitter. The guy seems to be constantly on Twitter talking absolute and utter dribble.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
And he proceeds to make a video talking absolute and utter dribble and being extremely racist. Of course, MMA media shills don't cover it. Absolutely not. Nobody covers this specific subject. Nobody called out Israel Adesanya for calling Dricus du Plessis a cracker like 50 times.
But who the fuck is this cracker to tell me who the fuck I am? But the fact that as a fucking cracker, are you dumb?
And saying that he wanted to drag his carcass across Africa. No one called it out. Absolutely not. But we did have shills like Ariel. We did have him calling out Dricus and making it a race issue when it totally wasn't. So nobody called out Belal. Just like when he said Colby Covington only got a fight because he was white. And then when he was asked about it in an interview, he got all coy and was like, oh no, Dad, Colby can't come up with an answer. He needs it all written down in front of him. What? You didn't answer the question. The reporter said to you, how do you respond to being called racist? And you went off on a tangent, kind of embarrassingly like a 13-year-old who was just caught jerking off.
What is your response to Colby?
The kid's the biggest joke in the world. Like, the stuff that he says, it's very stupid, it's ignorant, and the fact that he would scream that, it just shows how much, like how dumb he is.
Okay.
But this is Belal Muhammad. He's not really great on the mic. He's not really great in the ring. You have people shilling for him left, right, and center saying he deserves this and he deserves that. And listen, bro, I hate to say it to you, but he beats everyone in the top 10 and he beats everyone at 185 and he beats this and he beats that. It's like, dude, you ain't beating shit. You ain't beating shit. You barely beat Gilbert Burns. There was actually a stage when it went to the judges that people were actually thinking that Gilbert might actually have won. Even though he only had one arm for 5 rounds, people actually thought that he still beat you. That's how boring and uninteresting this fighter is. And I don't know how many people have pointed it out, but recently on Twitter, on interviews, he's becoming increasingly more bizarre and cringe.
You give me 8 weeks, I'm gonna beat John Jones. You give me 3 weeks, I could beat any welterweight in the world.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
And you kinda gotta wonder why this is happening. And for me, the reason is extremely simple. Belal Muhammad is infatuated with Colby Covington. He has looked at the trajectory of Colby Covington's career, the story about being cut, then coming out with the filthy animals statement, and then going full heel. And all of a sudden, he becomes a headliner. He's making big money, and people love to hate him. And it's so evident that this is exactly where Belal wants to go. He's making silly statements like, if I gotta go full heel, if I gotta go Stone Cold Steve Austin, I'll do it. And it's like, okay, this is actually quite cringe. You can almost imagine a scenario where Belal is reaching out to Colby Covington privately, asking him for tips on how to be the bad guy, on how to be the heel, on how to play a role, on how to be cringy. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that these conversations are happening. So put yourself in Belal Muhammad's situation. He's thinking to himself, I've just just beat 10 guys in a row or whatever his fucking record is. It was completely boring and no one was interested anyway. But look, I've beat 10 guys in a row. The UFC have promised me a title shot, which I'm probably not going to get for 2 years. What do I do from here? And in interviews, you'll hear him cope. I just saw him talk to the schmo there the other day, and he was coping, going, yeah, listen, it might be the end of 2024 by the time I get back in the octagon, but you know, like Khabib's in town, I might train with him for one day and I might train with someone else for another few days. It's like, dude, it's 2 years. It's 2 years. You gotta wait 2 years to get a title shot? They're doing you dirty, bro. At the back of his mind, maybe he's thinking, I could get the axe here. What am I gonna do? Do I have to fight another bunch of nobodies getting booed every time I fight? I'm gonna have to do something drastic to avoid getting cut or to avoid being forgotten about. And at the moment, his trajectory is headed towards the ground. Nobody likes him. Nobody cares about him. He's almost as hated as Paddy Pimblett, but not as much because that dude is... whatever, injured, cool. So in his mind, he's thinking, okay, I've got to do something drastic. I got to look to my hero, Colby Covington. The person that I always talk about, the person that I wear t-shirts of. I got to look to the guy who's done it before me. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that there was a couple of text messages flying back and forth in terms of, dude, help me out. I'm desperate here. And that's where we get to the situation with all this cringe, wearing the glasses, becoming the heel. He wants to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. He wants to be Colby Covington. He wants to talk absolute other shit. The only problem with this is he isn't good at that either. And now you have fans that were booing you because of your style and your boring personality.
Thoughts on how that goes?
New Jersey, you suck.
Now you're adding more and more fuel to the fire in terms of being racist every 5 fucking minutes. Every time you open your mouth, something pejorative pops out towards white people. And guess what? There's a lot of white people watching the UFC. And of course, the go-to argument here is, can you imagine if it was a white person that said this stuff? No, God! How hard would the UFC come down on them? Are they being hypocritical? Did the UFC come down hard on Colby Covington after the filthy animals comment? I don't think so. Are they going to come down hard on Belal Muhammad after calling this person a racist hillbilly and you only get this because you're white? No, they didn't. As I said, the UFC are pretty good. They're pretty balanced in terms of just letting things play out and not being too politically correct. But how does this end for Belal Muhammad? He's got a 2-year wait to get back in the octagon. Maybe he becomes the champion and then he becomes the most cringy, uninteresting and boring champion of all time. Or does he become even bigger than his idol, Colby Covington, and achieve that greatness and that love? Let me know your thoughts down below. Cheers.